What's going on, guys? Welcome back to United View. This is an actual late night view. This is an actual late
100%
night
it
view.
is.
Every single time, most of the time I've done these, even when they're 7 p.m., 6 p.m., sometimes even 5 p.m., we do this whole thing at the start where it's like, wow, it's late night somewhere. It is late night. We're past the watershed. We can say whatever we want, DJ.
I
Not
can
early on.
swear F and blind. I'll wait for about 20 minutes in,
Yeah,
but yeah.
early on. We'll build up to it. We'll build up to it. That's what we'll do. But as always, guys, be sure to smash a like on your way in. Settle down. It might be, even though it's late night here, it still might be early on where you are. This is a global channel. So there's plenty to get into. Obviously, you can see on the thumbnail, we're talking off about Paul Pogba. If you saw the stream earlier on today, me and Flex did touch on this, but there has been some developments since then as well. So there's plenty to touch on when it comes to Paul Pogba. So let's talk about, first of all, DJ, have you seen the Paul Pogba drama today before we get into it?
I have.
You have.
And I was actually pleasantly surprised by Paul Pogba, to be honest. Usually
Nice.
he's a man that keeps quite coy. Sometimes he's a little bit cryptic, but today I think he's done something that a lot of United fans have wanted him to do for a long time. Might not be on the right subject matter, but still, nonetheless, he's done something that us United fans have wanted him to do for a while, and that's just address the media when needed, and he has done that today. So, big ups to Paul Pogba for that.
So if you haven't seen, this morning, Paul Pogba sent out a couple of, first of all, it was a tweet, then it was a larger statement on his Instagram story. So the first one was big lies to make headlines, and it was a screen grab of the Sun. There was a story in the Sun yesterday, and a lot of other outlets did kind of jump on it as well, saying that Paul Pogba, after he got sent off on Sunday against Liverpool, has essentially given Solskjaer the cold shoulder. Rather, he shelved his contract talks as well. There was another story that was floating around yesterday saying that he was only going to stay at United if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wasn't the manager, if he got sacked. So Pogba came out this morning, was bullish, said big lies to make headlines, put that screen grab of the Sun. Also released a statement on his Instagram story, which I'll read out here, saying, quote, tabloid press once again wants to create polemic with 100% fake news, big lies to make headlines, journalists who use my name to be seen when there is nothing to see. The only reason I address this BS is out of respect to my coach, club, and fans to send a clear message. The less you read these people, the better you are. They have no shame and will say just anything with no basis at all. So me and Flex touched on this earlier, but the development since then is essentially Manchester United have piggybacked this because they released a tweet of their own, quote tweeting Pogba when he said big lies to make headlines, saying simply strength in unity, and then doing the fist bump emoji as well, which I'm a big fan of the fist bump emoji. If you ever exchange a WhatsApp with me, DJ can tell you I'm always doing that. I'm always doing that. So first of all, DJ, we kind of touched on it there. First of all, what did you think of the Pogba statement itself? And what did you think of United's response to it?
Yeah, I think Pogba's statement was brilliant. As I just said before, we've been waiting for him to be to provide clarity on many things to do with Paul Pogba. He's not really the clearest picture in the book sometimes. There's always a little bit of cryptic around him. He's like the Riddler from Batman. Literally, like he'll put out something small, and we're always left to ponder and wonder. But today's the day where he's literally just come out and addressed something head on, had his say, and it was really nice, a nice touch. And we all have our feelings and thoughts about Ole as manager of Manchester United, but it was really actually nice for him to come out and say this is out of respect of my coach and my club and my teammates and my fans, and that sends a positive message in a week that's been really negative. That is, I'd say, one positive that has actually come out of this week. And Manchester United, they're going to strike while the iron's hot. Manchester United PR machine. Someone said, "Oh, quickly! Paul's come out and said this. Let's get on the back of that." You can imagine them in the PR room, sort of like buzzing around and getting on the social media accounts to do that. But all in all, positive news. That's positive. It is a bit of positive news.
This was my thing on it. Like me and Flex spoke about it earlier, and I agree with what he was saying in that. When people saw this Pogba statement this morning, some people, not everyone, but some people were like, that's the PR team's getting round. That's the PR team's trying to spin things, whatever. And I agree with Flex in that I disagree. I really don't think that is Man United or Paul Pogba's communications team, whatever he's got, his agent. I really don't think that's United or his agent going to Paul Pogba, look, this story's come out about you, Paul. Maybe you go out there and you say something, blah, blah, blah. I think legitimately, I think that's Paul Pogba seeing that story and going, no, that's not true. I'm not going to stand for misinformation. I'm not going to stand for lies. I stand for a lot. Every time I change my hair, people lose their minds, and that's something that is real. That's something that is true. Let alone something that's lies. And look, Paul Pogba sometimes when stuff come out doesn't say anything. When his agent comes out and says stuff about his contract and his future, he often will remain mum about the situation. When it comes to what he thinks is what he calls 100% fake news or big lies, that question essentially his professionalism and his character, he absolutely well within his right to come out. And I'm like you said before, I'm happy to see him do that. The one thing I will say though is when PR does come into it, is Manchester United piggybacking on the Paul Pogba tweet? Because again, they didn't tell. I mean, I don't know, but I don't think they told Paul Pogba go out and say this. I think Paul Pogba said this to again say no, that's not true. And Manchester United, seeing just the inferno that's been going on the last few days, thought, you know what? Paul Pogba's basically saying that story's not true. And what United are trying to imply, the way I read it as, oh, all those things you've seen over the last couple of days, whether it's about Solskjaer, whether it's about Conte, whether it's about Ronaldo, whether it's about the squad not trusting Ollie, whether it's about Kieran McKenna, it's all not true. It's all not true. It's a blanket statement. And that is PR. There's a difference. Paul Pogba coming out and going, that's BS. That to me isn't PR. Manchester United piggybacking the quote and going, strength and unity.
That is definitely PR.
That to me is PR. And there is a difference. There is a difference between that. And what do you make of that?
Yeah, it's just typical Manchester United. When I saw that, I kind of had a little bit of a wry smile. I was a bit like, rah, is this what Man United's doing? Really doing that? But I mean, it was good execution, I suppose. Those who are in the know about PR and Manchester United club, especially under, the Glazers, will know that this is something that does happen. They do this quite often. Every game, if a game goes wrong, there's a little bit of a PR spin. I think we can kind of now predict when these PR spins are about to make headway to social media, and them.
But we didn't hear
low.
it.
Yeah,
we didn't hear it.
It's a bit of a low tactic to kind of do it off Pogba's honesty and him addressing something specifically. But hey, it's Manchester United, and they've capitalized on it, and maybe they have turned a large portion of the fan base into believing that what's gone in the last.
Do you think that though? Because I don't think a lot of people do. I think a lot of people saw through that today. I really do.
I'd like to think that large parts of the fan base can easily see when this happens, but you're always going to get 10%, 20% that are like, oh, it wasn't true. Didn't you see Manchester United came out? Everything's fine here. You're going to get people with their head kind of stuck in the clouds, but I think a little bit more, a little bit of us guys that really are in the know that it's just them trying to put out fires.
Because this was like kind of my reaction to it. Pogba does his, and I go, good for Paul Pogba. Then I saw Man United as well, and I went, yeah, come on, stop it now.
Yeah,
Let's
stop
not
it
be
now.
silly.
You're over-egging it a bit too much now.
Yeah, that's what I kind of found. Look, when it comes to all of this, and we spoke on the phone earlier on, and I kind of touched on it then, in that I think United, they're almost partially responsible for this in the sense that they could have nipped this in the bud on Monday, and they didn't. And I think they allowed, if you, for however you want to describe it, the vultures, the piranhas, whatever, they gave them a little bit. And now they started to nibble on it, and stuff did start to be made up, and stuff did start to come out. Now they're going, no, none of that's true. Yeah. And there is just no way that everything, I mean, and trust me, there was so much that's come out over the last 48 hours. It's difficult. It's difficult to disseminate actually what is the truth, what is the fiction there, because sometimes you're getting two stories and they're complete opposites of each other.
Opposites, yeah.
Is it contact, no contact? Well, one of them's got to be true. One of them has to be just by process of elimination. But so with all of that stuff that's coming out, you can't tell me that nothing that has come out over the course of the last 48 hours isn't true. I believe that the Paul Pogba story that he's referencing, I don't think that is true. Because I think that is a stretch, and you have to look at the outlet, obviously. But you can't tell me that just a blanket statement like United are trying to imply nothing's true. Absolutely nothing's true. You know what I mean? Yeah,
I think, and that's the thing. I think United obviously they think some fans are fools. We've seen this team under Solskjaer this season quite closely, and it's been quite painful to watch in certain instances. But there's a lot of narrative within the Manchester United team. You got the Donny storyline, Pogba storyline. Will Martial ever get a game? Ronaldo's back. There's so many different storylines within the team, and we watch it closely week to week. So when some of this news came out, you just kind of put the pieces together to say, actually, I kind of believe that this may be a bit credible. And then there was some that were really far fetched. But yeah, like for United to come out with on the back of Paul Pogba's statement and try put a connotation out there to say everything wasn't right or whatever, then yeah, it's a bit silly of the club. But as I said, those in the know, and I'm sure the United viewers are in the know, and we know that. Come on, man, United, you're just trying it now. You're trying to pull a fast one.
Yeah, speaking of media outlets today as well, this one came up from Samuel Luckhurst from the Manchester Evening News, saying that Manchester United have resisted sacking Ole Gunnar Solskjaer mainly because they have no succession plan for the Norwegian, which is very interesting and telling, because that is something, I'll give him his flowers, that Flex did say the other day.
Yep.
He said, I think that the reason why the board didn't do anything is because they were caught so off guard by this, and they were so shocked by this, or they didn't plan it, they didn't see it coming, that when the 5-0 result did happen against Liverpool, that they went, oh, crap, like, shit, we have nothing lined up. We have nothing at all lined up. I mean, what do you make of that story? Does that would that imply then that even though Solskjaer's been given these 3 games to turn it all around, all this kind of stuff, would that imply then that these 3 games and the sort of run up to the international break is just time to build up a succession plan?
Yeah, I truly believe that. I think when we spoke earlier, I said the only way Solskjaer turns it around is if he plays a whole new formation, embeds some new players, i.e., Sancho's and your Donnies, and we play totally different from the last few games that we played, and where we blitz teams, and it's amazing football. I think maybe then the Glazers would say, let's give him a couple more games. They'd kind of move the goalpost, no pun intended. They'd move the goalpost a little bit more. But I don't see that happening in any way, shape, or form. And yeah, I think this is to draw up a succession plan. Manchester United were very honest with us for the first time in a long time, a couple of weeks ago, when they said, oh, we're not talking to any other manager. And they were right. They clearly wasn't talking to any other manager. They was backing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and his coaching staff. And the 5-0, as just kind of what Flex said and what you've echoed there, 5-0 just caught them off guard. Like the social media backlash from the 5-0 has been enormous. It's been gigantic. And I think they were left in a situation where actually, no, like 5-0 at home to Liverpool is shocking. And I'm pretty sure that they would have been aware of, some of the murmurings in the dressing room. And
do you think so, though? Because I reckon there might just be a disconnect. I really did, because if they've got nothing, if they didn't see it coming, and it implies that they were caught off guard by all of this, as fans, not that the fans are like, we're not Darren Brown area, not predicting the lottery or anything ridiculous like that, but it wasn't a stretch to say, like, when we play a big team, even someone like Gary Neville, who's been, staunchly defending Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, even someone like him has said, when you play a big team this season, you will struggle, Manchester United, because you're off it. And I think every fan has said that. So I can almost hear what the board would be saying. Oh, like, well, why would we have a succession plan? Why would we be looking at other managers if we back the manager? That would be imply that we don't have full faith in him, all that kind of stuff. But it just comes across as a mess. Everything just comes across as a mess right now.
Yeah, it does. And, I think the hardest thing for me to watch as a fan was for, the leaks to come out. And as I said, maybe 40% of it was false and the other 60% was true. But it was hard to watch all of that come out. Rumor has it players were criticizing, coaching tactics and formations and instructions that Ollie was given. And let's say that was true, it would have been better for him to have gone, because then he's had to walk back in to Carrington and face to face with some of these players. And it's not an environment that everyone wants to be a part of. That environment must have been quite awkward, quite difficult to deal with. And, if they had done their job right, then he definitely would have been gone. Because I reckon if some of these reports were true from the players, in their minds, they're not seeing Ollie not ever again, but they're not seeing him again. He's not rocking back up to Carrington after that. So it kind of was done at the wrong time. United were really ill-equipped, hadn't even spoken to a manager of Conte's, stature. You know, that's a deal that you're gonna have to sit around the table for a few weeks at least. You know, we do deals really slowly. So to think that they could have got Conte in so quick, it goes kind of against the ethos we've had in the last how many years. So shambles, a mess, quite embarrassing for Solskjaer, embarrassing for some of the players, and embarrassing for us fans.
I think Friday's press conference is going to be just, fascinating because obviously he's got to sit in a room, well, virtually, because they don't actually have him in person anymore. They do it on a Zoom call, but he's got to sit, in front of these journalists, and these journalists got to ask him questions. He's got to answer these questions to these people that, like we said, not all of it is true, but not all of it is false.
Yeah.
He's got to sit in front of these people that have been writing about him losing his job, been writing about him, talking to other people, been writing about players, slagging him off, saying he's ill-equipped and his coaches are ill-equipped. It's getting to after, now that he's staying for 3 games, I'm not feeling sorry for him. I don't take pity on him because I don't. He's manager of Manchester United. He's only got a Solskjaer, but I do sort of sympathize with him, shall we say, he is in a tough position.
Yeah.
And I guess the counterpoint to that is the pressure of being Manchester United manager, right? You have to that's what you have to deal with, especially if you don't perform.
Yeah, 100%. And I think we've been in this position with Ollie numerous times where his job has been on the line. And I do think he's probably the only manager in the Premier League, and I'm just literally trying to think right now quickly. I think he's the only manager in the Premier League that we judge him literally by a couple of games to a couple of games to a couple of games, because we could have 4 great games on the bounce and we're waiting for that one sort of slip. And as soon as he slips, Solskjaer's job might be in jeopardy. Constantly being doubted by his peers, constantly being doubted by social media. And Manchester United, even though it's his dream club and he was a legend for us and stuff like that, it must be a really intense spot for him to be in. And like you said, him going back into sort of Carrington, and now with the mess and the fallout from that, I wonder which Ollie's going to turn up. Are we going to get nasty Ollie? He was at Cardiff and just whooped off. Who cares? I don't care about the Liverpool thing.
Yeah, couldn't care less.
Couldn't care less. That's the quote. I'm not going to lie. I'd love to see him come out swinging. Because if I see him sitting there smiling as he does, and what he'll do, this is my prediction. What he'll do is press conference will come and he will start saying, the usual Ollie stuff like, that's the expectation that comes with a club like Manchester United. I'm the manager, I picked the team and I was well aware of that when I joined the club. He's going to come with all of those feel-good kind of Manchester United-y statements. He's just going to come with those United statements. No, Ollie, throw the textbook that you've been reading for how many years, throw that to the side. And I want to see the real you. Don't come out with these blanket United statements. What does Ollie, the manager, the man, really feel about this situation? Obviously, you can't say too much, I reckon, but give us an insight into what the hell is actually going on, because we were here. Samuel Luckhurst, right? I'll give it to him. I was on Twitter. He was tweeting every minute. It was like someone from United was behind his shoulder telling him exactly. He was like a ghostwriter. Someone telling him exactly what to write. Press send. Write that, press send. Literally, he was on fire, man. Literally, I just saw his timeline just flying down in so many different quotes and bits of information. So, yeah, Ollie's got a tough press conference coming up. I think it's going to be probably one of the most viewed managerial press conferences in a long time.
Absolutely.
So, everyone tune in.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you mentioned changes and stuff like that, what you would make. Do you... I spoke about this before, but if it was me, right? If it was me, which of course it ain't, but if it was me, I would be like, right, what I'm doing obviously isn't working. I've got 3 jobs to save myself. I've tried 4-2-3-1. I've tried McFred. I've tried all of this kind of stuff. It's not working. I've got to try something different. I'll try a 5 at the back. I'll try 4-3-3. I'll try playing Donny van der Beek. I'll try doing this. I'll try doing that. That's what I would do. 1, is that what you would do? But 2, do you think that's what he will do? That's the most important thing.
I'd definitely do it, Owen. At this moment in time, his back's against the wall more than ever. I think that's even an understatement, to be fair. It's like, they've dug the grave, the pile of dirt's there, and they're just waiting to throw him in. They've just got him hoisted over the gap. If I was him, I'd be doing everything and anything within my power to show that I can be a top manager and that there can be change. Football's really fickle, isn't it? So and we work on recency bias. So imagine if he plays Donny van de Beek and Donny van de Beek scores a hat trick. I'm just saying, like, just hypotheticals, but the response the fan base would give to that is, oh wow, yeah, told you, Donny was the guy. And then Ollie could come out in a press conference and say, yeah, I always knew he had that talent. It was just about the right time. Like, they'll just chat shit. You can imagine it. You can imagine it. Yeah, you can imagine it, right? But I think if it was me, I'll make the changes. But I think he's gonna just stick to what he knows. And if he sticks to, actually no, he'll probably make 1 or 2 changes. I can see someone maybe like Jesse coming in, and maybe one of McFred's gonna be dropped for maybe Matic. I'm guessing McTominay possibly. I think that's what he'll go with. However, that is the wrong decision. That is definitely the wrong decision, because if he just goes with the same team, it's kind of like Ollie. Like, what have you learned? Like, you haven't learned anything. But then it's about him removing his own ego. Imagine how hard it might be for him to say to Donny van de Beek, Donny, you're starting. You're starting, mate. That's probably a tough conversation for him because of how much he's sort of like neglected him. To have that conversation, to put that his pride to the side and say, I need you. That's what he's basically saying. I need you to basically save my career, or I was wrong. Can he do that? I don't know. We've got to wait and see. We have to wait and see.
We have to wait and see. Super chat from Tabarez says, no sympathy here. He never deserved the job. He was never, ever worthy. We are Manchester United, not Solskjaer's United. Give me contact. By the way, where is Jack? A lot of people looking out for Jack. They want that Henderson bias. That's what they want. No, Jack's busy. He's got, unlike me and DJ, he's got a life.
Yeah, he's got a life. He's got a life. He's got a life.
Another super chat from Jack, not the Jack. Can you imagine the timing? If that was the case, it would have been unbelievable. That would have been amazing. Super chat from Jack says, imagine Ollie comes out and starts talking about fine margins. Hey, want to put it past him?
Oh my God. If I hear fine margins one more time, I'm going down to that press conference myself. Seriously.
Yeah, we didn't have enough legs. If we could have 4 McFreds, could you imagine? You never know. Honestly, you never know. You never know these kind of things. But certainly, no doubt about it, is going to be a fascinating press conference on Friday. And I honestly don't know what can he say. I suppose apart from he'll just come out and say, I've got the backing of the board. I've spoken to him. I've never had a problem with the board. Never had a problem with the players. Yes, we're disappointed with results. We're disappointed from forms, but we'll bounce back. We go again. I know I'm secure. We're Manchester United. All this kind of stuff. That's what he'll say. And then he'll have a dig at the journalists because you can't lay over. You can't just roll over and be like, oh, it's fine what you're writing about me. No, you can't say that. Absolutely not. No way.
Yeah, he'll come up with those Manchester United statements. He'll do that.
Another super chat from Ryan says, Ollie will start Donny and sub him after 5 minutes. Oh, don't. Don't do that. No, but look, I know I've been saying that what I would be doing and changes and all that kind of stuff. I still don't think Donny's starting. Not a chance.
It's crazy, man. It is crazy. I know I joked on the phone with you earlier. I said, look, when I'm old and grey on my deathbed, I really just would like the secret revealed as to why Donny van de Beek never played. Was given a chance, I should say.
Which I thought was an odd request for your deathbed, to be honest, DJ. I would think you want something a bit more substantial than something like
I'm
that.
Telling you,
if I'm dying, am I like EKG's going like, duh, I'm not going to be whispering like, tell me why Donny didn't work out at United. They'd be like, he's gone. He's massively gone and lost it because he's talking about Donny van de Beek. Like,
I just need to know
40 years after the fact.
I need to know, Owen. I really need to know, and I think us as fans deserve to know. At least. I remember something very similar to, not as similar to this, but Mourinho didn't play Mkhitaryan straight away when he came in. I think he struggled with a couple games, but Mourinho came out and said, he struggled. We're just waiting for the right time. And then eventually, I think it was after like 12 games or something like that, then Mkhitaryan came in and had a little bit of a hot streak. But I know it's very different to Donny. Donny hasn't even got a look in. 5 minutes of Premier League football is
and it hardly ended well for Mkhitaryan as well, did it?
Yeah, I know, right? So yeah, I know.
If we're going to compare,
I know, but still, I just like to know what it is. I'd rather Ollie just come out and say, their player's better than him. If he said that, we'd stomach it.
He's already kind of said it, hasn't he? He was asked about it a couple of weeks ago, and he basically said, like, he did the whole, look, as a manager, I've got to make the difficult decisions. Not everyone can play. And the problem is when people say that, you go, what does that even mean? Like, just, like when you're listening to like a politician and they'll say an answer and you have to essentially Like, it's like, I don't know, decipher actually what
Yeah.
they've said. It's
What
like
they've
that
said,
sketch
yeah.
when someone says something and the person next to him says what they actually say. So he'll go,
Yeah.
you can't play everyone, and I've got to drop some people. It's a difficult choice of being a manager. You might as well have like another version of Ollie being next to him going, I think he's shit. And then you go, all right, thanks. Now you've actually just said what you've actually thinking.
Yeah.
Obviously, for whatever reason, you don't rate him. And it's just a case of whether or not, I mean, if Solskjaer's still there in January, we basically know Donny's going at this point. He's got a different agent because he's looking at his agent being like, you got me into this mess.
Yeah.
And you couldn't get me out of it in the summer and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, absolutely. That's the situation.
One thing I'll give Ollie is that, and it's better than his management, I would say he's very media trained. He's very good. I'll give it to him in terms of maybe not the quotes that we want him to say. He's very good in the sense of dodging and not answering. Yeah, but not answering questions and doing blanket statements that kind of answer it, but don't answer it at the same time. He's amazing, eh?
Yeah, fine margins and legs. That's what we really want, right? Fine margins and legs. We've got over 600 people watching and only 145 likes. Smash a like on the like button.
Come on, guys. Don't be rude.
Raise the like button. Yeah, come on, settle down. Another thing I do want to talk about is United released some training photos today because there is a game going on Saturday, by the way. Like, you kind of forget about it, don't you? But there is a game going on Saturday. And Raphael Varane has returned to full training at Manchester United. Do you think we could see Varane return just in time for Spurs on Saturday?
Tough one because I'd like to think that Ollie's learned from the Maguire mess. So, and I'm not saying Varane is Maguire. Please don't think that. Maybe he can come in and carry on playing as he was playing before he got injured. But I don't know. I need to know. I think Ollie did say last week that he'd been training a little bit, but I don't know. It just depends if he's match fit and how long he's actually been training. And again, I just want to say, beautiful PR spin by Manchester United. Get Varane smiling.
That one is good.
Brilliant. Oh, timing was brilliant. You got to give them you have to give them their props, like it's been a bad 48 hours, guys. Put Raphael Varane. Yep, everyone's, and then we're all as fans like, oh yeah, he's back. Positive energy seeping through again. You probably see, I don't know, Sancho and Ronaldo hugging with Ollie, smiling. Something like that will come out in the next couple of days.
Yeah, it is the equivalent of there's like this giant fire over there, and you go, but look over there, there's ice cream or whatever over there. And you go, oh, what? Oh, yeah. And people are like, put it out, quick. They're not looking. It is kind of like that. Super chat from Tabarez once again says, Julian Nagelsmann's Bayern is losing 5-0 United. Are they actually? I didn't even know Bayern were playing tonight. But
yeah, I knew they were playing. I wasn't sure of the score.
5-0. Who against? It's unbelievable. But when it comes back to Varane, do I think he'll play at the weekend? 100%. Because Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he don't care about. And also as well, there's so many reasons why I think he will. One, because in the past, like, it's only when Man United sign players that we decide to bet them in, as opposed to bring them back from injury. They'll play. Rashford, he'll come back pretty quickly. Harry Maguire comes back pretty quickly. Scott McTominay has surgery. 2 weeks later, he's playing. Scott McTominay needs surgery. He's playing. So I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will see a game where Manchester United lost 5-0. In fairness, one could argue, even if Varane was playing, I still think we would have conceded a lot of goals that game because the game plan was just off. So off. Talking about trying to press a team like Liverpool, and we apparently had never done really pressing in training, and just it looked a mess. So I don't even know if Varane, to be honest, would have made a huge amount of a difference. But when you're looking at conceding, was it 19 goals in his last 5 games or something like that, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and you have someone like Varane who says, I can probably get through 90, you'd be like, put him on. Just put him on. Even if it's a case of, all right, we won't play you against Atalanta, we'll play Lindelof or something like that. He needs a win in the league, because if he loses against Spurs and we're really starting to get off that top 4, I mean, this is meant to be a side that's meant to be potentially challenging, right? Not just struggling to get top 4. So I think he'll play. I really do. I reckon he'll play. Yeah,
you know what? I do hope he plays. I just hope that, because we're going to need him long term. So I hope if he is 100% fit, then yeah. But if he's not 100% fit, screw Ollie. He might not even be here. So we need to preserve Raphael Varane, and at some stage, the defenders we have are going to have to pull their finger out and get working and get training and improve the defense, because it's just so hard to believe that Aaron Wan-Bissaka, one of the greatest tacklers of the ball, Varane, Maguire, who was touted as...
I saw that video you said to KG. There was a video that DJ put on Twitter, and KG, to be fair, KG, like, you reeled him in just massively for it. He was talking about getting DJ off the channel. He was getting a petition good. He was like, I don't want him on the channel anymore. It's because that guy was crying. It's because that guy was like nearly crying, which I didn't understand, to be honest with you. I did not understand, because he starts off going, I think that Aaron Wan-Bissaka is a quality player, and you see him do some tackles. You're like, I clip this. And then he's like, the way he wins back that ball. And you go like, whoa, this is getting emotional. And then the music hits. You see Wan-Bissaka doing slide tackles. But I was ready to sign him again afterwards. I was like, that's brilliant. What an amazing video. Yeah, KG loved it.
You know, I had to sort of like get KG a bit. And you know what? KG's a busy man. So for him to even see that.
He's on set. He's on. It's like,
I feel honoured, man. I feel honoured. On United 100%. View, man, we work with a celebrity. So, you know, big up KG. Once he gets that Marvel film, you know, I can imagine him versus Thanos or something like that. If Thanos comes back from the dead or whatever, I can imagine that. Big up KG though.
Yeah, 100%. Massively. But yeah, he loved that video. But yeah, going back to it, I think he'll play Varane. I do, and maybe that's the catalyst to play like a back three or a back five or something like that. You know, maybe right?
Yeah, it's so intriguing. You know, like I know, like, you know, 48 hours have gone by and we've had the circus. And is he going? Is he staying? Conte, not Conte? But I think there's a lot more intrigue now in how he responds. I want to see, even though I don't think he's the right man for the job, I just want to see how he responds. I want to see what he does, because if we see the same team, you can imagine the fans, right?
Yeah.
It's got to be different. I think he'll bring Matic in. I think Matic will be Matic and Varane, maybe the two changes, and I think we'll leave it at that. Nothing too.
Do you still think 4-2-3-1?
Yeah. We haven't done enough training in probably another formations, I'm guessing.
We didn't do enough training for the Liverpool game, and then you started to press Liverpool. You never know.
The way that quote came out, it sounded like he said he just did it, like, just as they're walking out. Guys, press them. Like, what? Yeah. You didn't even work on this. What are you doing? What do you mean?
Again, this is the problem now, because there has been so much misinformation. You don't know necessarily which ones to believe. And there was those reports. Where was it from? It might have been from The Athletic, which is pretty reliable. It's Laurie Whitwell, and was essentially saying that there was a massive surprise when the team sheet came out, even from the players, have been like, you're playing the same 11 that started against Atalanta, where, you know, the consensus was we were crap for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
That team's playing again.
Yeah.
He can't play the same starting 11. He can't. Sure, there is no way. Like, there's one thing to say, oh, we were 2-0 down against Atalanta, but this is what he said, but they were just clinical. I thought we played well. Liverpool weren't like clinical 5 times or 4 times, you know, in the first half against Manchester United. Liverpool were better than us and we were crap. There is no way. But you never know.
you never know. You never know with Ollie. But I think what he'll do is, this is what I think he'll do. He's going to pick from the players that have a bit of experience that he knows he can trust. Like, he knows he can trust Matic. 100% he can trust Matic. He knows he can trust Varane. So he won't tinker the team too much. It'll be 1 or 2, maybe 3 changes max. Yeah. Maybe a Cavani in for Ronaldo. Matic in the midfield.
You reckon? Cavani in for Ronaldo? There's no way. In a job that would actually have to save his skin, would he drop Cristiano Ronaldo? I thought you'd frozen then. That's how still you were. My goodness. Yeah, I was like, he's frozen. He's going to get ready to dip again.
Wait for 45 minutes.
Unbelievable.
Wait for the 45-minute mark, Owen. You know what time it is.
He literally did not blink. I was unbelievable.
I was just thinking, would he do that? Would Ollie do that?
Like, I've stunned DJ so much he turned into a statue. Jeez.
To answer your question, I think maybe, yeah. I think he would. I think Ronaldo might need a game's rest. And it's not like he's coming off for a youth team player. He's like Cavani can hold the fort, I'm sure. Or he may put them both in the starting lineup. That's another. Yeah, play both. Play both.
I've been saying that so many times. Like, find a solution, play both. Whether that is, you know, 5, and this is when I always hate doing formations, so I add them up. 5-3-2. You know, when you say it out loud, you have to go like 5-3-2, 3-4-3, whatever it is. Like, I think that you can find a way. I think you can find a way to get them both in. But again, I don't know. I agree with you. I don't know if I necessarily see him changing the formation. Got to change the starting lineup. He has to. There's no way. And not just in the sense of, I just brought Varane back in. Same 11. but I swapped out Lindelof for Varane. That's not enough either. You know what I mean?
I kind of want to see Lindelof and Varane instead of Varane and Maguire personally. That's just I just like to see that and see how they.
What about buying
complement each
Varane?
other. Yeah, I think that would be amazing. I think that'd be really good. To be fair, a lot of energy in there, speed, power. You know, I think they complement each other pretty well.
You never
Both
know.
played in the Spanish league as well. So,
Super chat from Yellow Bathing Suit says everyone loves the Flex and KG show, but man, the Owen and DJ show always entertaining to watch. Don't say it too loud. Don't say it too loud. Be careful what you wish for. That's what I would say. Like Flex, yeah, exactly. Flex and KG went live at 9 last night as well. And I said to Flex earlier, I was like, look, whatever you can do, me and DJ can do at least half as good.
Half as good.
At least
we'll
half as good. We can do it.
We should
Maybe not all the way good.
We should get an intro too, right?
Yeah, just but half as good.
Half as good.
So just one of us trips over.
Yeah,
it cuts out halfway through. DJ dips and leaves halfway through, and I'm looking around like that, going, "No,
where is he?"
Again, that's what we got to do. That's what we got to get a new intro going. I do want to talk about this as well. This comes from Paul Hayward, which is quite a well-known sports journalist. He's been on is the Sunday supplement even still on the telly? I used to watch it all the time on a Sunday. I don't even know if it is.
I don't really watch telly like that anymore. Can't lie.
I used to always.
I just live on social
Sunday.
media.
It used to be literally like, Sunday supplement goals on Sunday. Unbelievable. And then Super Sunday, go and get out of bed, bit of a hangover, superb. He has said a big factor with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's Manchester United future is that Ed Woodward and co were scarred by working with Jose Mourinho. If they sacked him, they'd lose that control over the manager, which is interesting. Which is very interesting. What do you make of that?
Yes, that is something I think we've known for a very, very long time. And it seems like it's been confirmed now. And it's so annoying because it limits kind of some of the great minds we can bring into the club. Like, I really do think, Conte, I said Conte may come in and shake things up. I think that might be needed. You might need someone that's going to bite back a bit. I think that's healthy. You don't want a yes man. It sounds like what they're saying is, we yes man. Conte's too hard to control. We can't control him. Mourinho gave us hell when he was here because Mourinho didn't hide in anything. Mourinho's quite transparent. Mourinho went in the press and he said certain things at press conferences. That's one thing I will say I liked about Mourinho. You kind of know what you're gonna get. If he's had a Barney with Ed, you're gonna hear a little bit about it. He's gonna make it known that him and Ed ain't really speaking too well at this point in time. And he was never afraid to do that, and that takes a lot of courage to do that. But yeah, it just sounds like I'm not surprised. United do kind of want puppet might be a strong word, but it's kind of going down that route. Someone that they can control, someone that's a bit of a mouthpiece, someone that they can say, we can't give you 150 million for this this transfer window. Oh, we'll just give you 40. Just stupid shit like that. Like. They want someone that they can kind of pull the wool over and who's not really going to bite back. But Conte will definitely bite back. Conte's not going to have any of the Glazer-nomics and the Glazer stupid shit going on. You can tell I'm swearing now because I passed the watershed. So
hey, it's late night view, half good view of Owen and DJ. Half as good as the Flex and KG show.
If you're below the ages of 16, please just watch it in the morning with an adult and someone of age.
With a supervisor.
Yeah, I was going to say supervisor or be supervised while you watch it. Yeah, there you go. But yeah, it doesn't surprise me, Owen, and it's kind of disheartening to hear that. It really is.
Super chat from Polat says Conte will bring needed discipline back to the club. Interesting. Another thing that this Paul Hayward said in his report said that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer didn't have the same power as Mourinho, so they could dictate to him more in a committee system. As I mentioned, if they sack him, they'll lose that control over the manager. He also said they had a terrible run in the transfer market with short-term managers blowing hundreds of millions. The committee takeover was to stop that and increase Woodward's influence. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer suited that formula. It feels very Game of Thrones, that, doesn't it?
Oh, man. Seems like the Manchester United Mafia. That's what it feels like.
It's still very Game of Thrones. But it's interesting that, again, when they're saying about no succession plan, it kind of all feeds into each other, doesn't it? Like, we don't have a succession plan in the sense that we don't have someone we can bring in that fits into that system, that fits into that sort of Solskjaer mold, whatever that is, that Solskjaer mold of someone that is going to be dictated to, someone that is going to take yes for an answer, pretty much. Like, this is what you've got. figure it out kind of situation. It's someone that isn't going to fight back. The problem is, if you're looking for that kind of manager, you're only going to find a certain type of person. You ain't going to find an elite manager that's going to put up with that. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And that's why I said it limits kind of some of the great minds out there that are currently, plying their trade and stuff like that. Like maybe, my pick was Ten Hag, but maybe he isn't the right type of person.
But even he put up with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I just think that there needs to be a wholesale change behind the scenes, and that's not going to happen. I wish, like like Manchester United would do some of these like fan forums in person and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Mate, I tell you what, if I was there, the questions I'll be asking them, I'd be talking about this stuff. I'd be like, listen, you lot, stop. Like, get your heads out of your asses, please. Like, get the right man for the job. Give him the right amount of control that a manager needs when dealing with his team. It's kind of like, I think there's just too many cooks behind the scenes, if you ask me. Too many cooks.
And it's interesting that all of this was to increase Woodward's influence, yet he's leaving at the end of the year. So, like, he might stay
on to April now.
It's because it's so confusing, isn't it? I mean, Super Chat from Tabro says Ollie is a puppet, Conte is not. Still, Conte wants Man United. Super Chat from John Sem says they're too scared to get Conte. They want Poch because he's a softie like Ollie, but he's not a winner either. Interesting that when it comes to the Pochettino one, and again, I don't necessarily want to talk too much about who would we bring in next because we still do have a manager, even though sometimes you have to kind of remember that, even with the speculation that you can't talk about who someone's replacement is going to be when they're still in the job. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But with the Pochettino one, I do find that interesting that, I saw that today, like Pochettino's still got admirers at Manchester United or in the boardroom when, look, he's going to win the league with PSG. He is going to win the league. They're top of the league. It's not going to be like last season where Lille won it. But he's hardly set the world alight at PSG. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if that was me at a boardroom level, I'd be like, we'll see how that one goes. Because if you got Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe, and you're still struggling to win Champions Leagues, maybe you're not the right guy for the job. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%, man. I'm very skeptical when I see managers that have sort of like, A-list, like a team of maybe like 9 or 8 A-list players in their starting 11. I'm very skeptical, and even though I'm pretty sure that they're quite talented managers, I still would like to see them with lesser players to see their true level of management. Because I could be the manager of PSG and win something. Do you know what I mean? Like, it could be the smallest cup, but I'd win something. Do you know what I mean? And that wouldn't be a true measure of my coaching and my management style. That's why, again, I'll say his name and I'll keep saying his name. Ten Hag, for me, he's got an Ajax team of young players. Some of them weren't quite at that top level, but he's managed to galvanize them and get them to that top level where they're beating Dortmund 4-0. I think they won 5-0 again as well, somewhere down like the amazing
players
team
that have left as well. Imagine he kept all the players.
Exactly, and it's always a conveyor belt of talent. You know what I mean? Like some of these players I'd never heard of before, and they just pop up in the Ajax team, play for 2 seasons somewhere, and then they get picked up by a big club. Like, that manager for me is someone I'd like to see with A-list players, with world-class players, because he could definitely win something. And but again, I think there's so many problems with Manchester United that, they're all interlinking. We're talking about, potential managers coming in, Oli, and then to see a report today saying that, Glazers basically want a mouthpiece, in short. They want someone that they can control. Conte would be a threat to that. Mourinho was a threat to that. And yeah, it's just a bit disheartening. It's just like, what the hell? Like, our whole football ethos has just been tarnished, I think, behind the scenes anyway.
This is an interesting one because me and Flex spoke about it earlier as well. If you were Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you put yourself in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's shoes now.
Yeah.
What team would you select at the weekend, and which formation would you go with? Put you on the spot here.
I'd go for a
3-5.
I'd go for a 3-5-2. De Gea, and then I'd have Varane, Lindelof, Maguire, and then I'd have Shaw, Dallo for me.
No Wan-Bissaka.
No Wan-Bissaka for this one.
That's why he's sending that video to KG, guys. That's why. That's why he's trying to get under KG skin.
No Wan-Bissaka.
Send it to him.
No Wan-Bissaka for this one. And then in the midfield, I'd probably play Fred. Funny enough, I'd play Fred, Van der Beek, Bruno, and then Cavani and Ronaldo.
Interesting.
That'll be my
It's an
team.
interesting one.
That'll be my team.
Interesting. I find the Wan-Bissaka thing very interesting. Very interesting. Because I do think he can be a wing back. I do, because people forget, like, he started off in his youth career, he started off at Palace as a winger.
Yeah.
Which is crazy when you think about it, when the criticism is he's not very good going forward.
Yeah. Do you want to
he's not very good going forward.
Do you want to hear my management brain? The reason why I picked Dallo, hear this, and this is what Ollie doesn't do, right? The reason why I picked Dallo is because if I'm going to play Cavani and Ronaldo, my whole thing is we need to attack with width and get the ball in the box for those guys, because they're monsters in the air. So if we can get the ball in the box, and for me, Wan-Bissaka he gets the ball in the box sometimes on an occasion, but not as much as I'd need. That's why you'd have Bruno pinging balls in there. You'd have, Delo from that side, Shaw from that side. So as long as we can get the ball in the box, talking like I'm at the press conference right now. Yeah. As long as we can get
you need some legs.
Yeah. And, I've got Dallo there on the right, trying to ping the ball in. We've got Ronaldo. He's a great header of the ball. And, when you've got those two, they're real Manchester United players, yeah. I can't do an Ollie impression. I just can't do it. I don't know how he even does it.
I can't do the accent. I can think of the words, but I can't do the accent. Get some legs in there. Fight, passion, desire.
What does Flex say?
Margins.
Season. He says season.
Season. Is that what he says?
He always says, we need to play well for the season. And Rashi and
Rashi, Victor, Marcus. That's
guys,
Marcus.
put a thumbs down for my Ollie impression. It's terrible. Oh.
Yeah, put a thumbs up. Forget it. There's no thumbs down on this channel. Always thumbs up. We've got over nearly 700 people watching. All thumbs up, for the half good late night view. I want to touch on this one as well. This is not necessarily Manchester United specific, but it's kind of football, general football specific. So IFAB, which is the International Football Board, have said that they are recommending for all of football that 5 substitutions become permanent. Now, it was proposed at the International FA Board panel meeting today and was strongly supported. The change would still allow competitions to opt for only 3 substitutions, which is currently the case in the Premier League, but there would be pressure on England's top flight to fall in line with the rest of football. So, obviously, when we had Project Restart and we had that season, that initial season or the resumption of the season in the pandemic, we had the 5 substitutions. Was it last season? Last season, they went back to only having 3.
Yeah.
And obviously this season they only have 3 substitutes. But the recommendation now is that they stick with 5. Now in the Premier League, it was unanimously voted on, I think by everyone apart from I want to say 4 teams, which United was included in, that it should only be 3 substitutions. What do you think? First of all, do you think it makes a bit of a difference? And can you kind of see both sides of it?
Yeah, I see both sides of it. However, I've always liked to pick from more substitutions. I think 5 subs is a good number. The Premier League is such a physical league. Injuries are picked up here and there quite quickly and quite often. I just love 5 subs because I think a game can change on its head with 5 subs. Do you know what I mean?
Which is what the smaller teams don't want. That's the problem, isn't it?
There you go. So I think 3 is, if you look at the number 3, it's actually quite a happy medium, isn't it? 3 is quite a happy medium, but
I think I can get it. I do get, because at the time I remember people were like Sheffield United. This is when they were in the Premier League, but they were saying I think it was Wilder fell out with Klopp about it and all this kind of stuff, because the bigger teams were saying well, we play more games, we play in Europe. Yeah. And especially in a situation whereby you might have a situation where you're playing Monday, Wednesday, or some cases Monday, Wednesday, Monday, Thursday, Sunday, or you're playing 3 games in a week, whatever that may be. You need to be able to rotate your players. You need to. And we're first to complain, aren't we? When we get to a World Cup or a European Championship and we're like, our players are just too damn tired. Why are they tired? We don't know. And you look at all the games they play in such a short period of time. So having 5 substitutes would take a bit of the pressure off. But I can also understand the smaller teams go, well, Manchester United can make 5 subs and can influence a game, but we might only have 14, 15 top players that we have. The rest of our bench is filled out by youth players. Manchester United have the advantage because if we're winning a game, they'll be like, right, I'm going to throw on 150 million pounds worth of talent. And how can we compete with that?
Unless they balance it out and actually say, 2 slots out of the 5 subs have to be youth team players from the academy or whatever, or from the reserves.
Homegrown substitutes.
Yeah, I think maybe you'd have to have. I think that would be quite fair. Then it kind of levels it out, I suppose. It kind of gives you the 3 substitutions, really, if you really think about it, and have 2 that are just, youth team players. But then the top teams are going to have great youth team players. So, yeah.
Tapper says, I would imagine Ollie would just want one sub. That was like that in the Europa League final last season, though, wasn't it? Like, you had like 5, and I remember he didn't make any till like 100 minutes or something like that. Everyone's like, you got 5. It's not as if you've got like only 3, you've got 5.
That game still haunts me, to be fair, because just as you said, it was so odd. It was so odd to watch because that game was there for the taking. It was there for us to literally just go up another gear and take the game. And he hesitated. He waited and waited and waited. And I was thinking, what are you waiting for? You've got players on the bench, mate. Go and change it up. It's just frightening.
Like, do you think, like, out of our results so far this season, maybe not Liverpool, but some other games, do you reckon anything would have been changed if we had an extra 2 substitutes?
Nah.
I don't think so. No, I don't think so either.
Because when Ollie makes substitutions, sometimes they're very just like for like, and I'm just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's kind of like no thought process behind it. Oh, yeah, Greenwood, 80 minutes, come off, mate. Sancho. You haven't changed the formation. You haven't done something where I can see what you're trying to do. It's very just...
Having 5 would allow that, though. Having 5 would be like, right, I can really change the formation here because I can bring multiple people on and really change it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But again, I can see the other side of it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And if you were a youth player at a smaller club, you'd be like, look, I've got a good chance of getting on.
Exactly.
Maybe that's the way to look at it as well. Those smaller teams that'd be like, wow, we just don't have that many quality players on the bench. Maybe that's a case of, right, that's why you got to invest in your youth. Every time, by the way, guys, every single time, it's always 45 minutes. That's why in our intro, I need to be walking down the street like the Flex and KG show, and DJ just got to disappear halfway through. His record is undefeated. Another one, actually, well, DJ isn't here. I was talking to DJ on the phone earlier, and he did this to me, right? It's not even just here or we're on stream. It's not even when we're just on stream. He did it on the phone earlier as well to me. Just disappears. And then he called me back and went, I told you.
I just want to say, weighing in at 155 pounds,
yeah.
DJ, United View, undefeated. I'm undefeated. I'm undefeated.
Every single time. Every single time. But yeah, like I was saying, look, if you had it didn't have that many good players on the bench, maybe that would be like, right, I'll invest in my youth team because I've got to have players, on the bench and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know. I think personally, I don't see it. If all of football's going to do it, why should the Premier League be like, no, we're going to stick with 3?
Yeah, it's true. It's just
you know what I mean?
It's true.
Where'd you draw the line then? Because we're just going to ignore other rules and results as well.
Yeah, I think what we're saying could be a thing of you have 3 senior players, 2 youth prospects. It's fair. It gives a nice pipeline for the youth team players to aspire to try and get to that at least the bench to begin with. And I think that'd be good.
It could be 6. Technically, it could be 6 because you've got a concussion substitute as well.
Yeah,
you could be potentially making 6 substitutes.
That's actually
half
true.
Your team.
Oh man, who's gonna play if someone's head sore? Who's it gonna be?
Like, in fairness, though, football evolves. Football ain't the same game that it was when it was first invented. Football evolves all the time. I remember playing football when I was a kid. When you had kickoff, you had to hit it in front of the line first.
Yeah.
Now we don't do that. We just pass it straight back. So many kickoffs I've been involved in when they go, no, do it again. You didn't pass it forward. You're like, what? Who cares?
Who cares? Yeah. And on the kickoff spot, one has to kind of drop a little bit. It's just,
one's got wasn't it? One had to be in the opposition's half as well, and had to go over and all that kind of weird stuff. I remember those rules. Football changes. Football changes all the time. I remember when I was a kid, right? I used to play in goal, penalty shootouts. I used to be running off my line all the time. That's how I used to say penalties. You can't do that now.
You jump off the line into the.
Oh, mate, I used to be like, full on, like you dive forward and get right off that thing as far as I could. Even when the referees used to say, even when they tried to put it in, and they were like, look, you have to stay on your line. I go, yeah, of course we will.
Yeah, and then you just do it again.
Of course, I'll just do it again. I had it before in penalty shootouts, 6 asides, and they got the really small goals, right? Especially when you get a bit bigger, right? So you're like covering up anyway, and like you've really got to stay on your line. Go, obviously, of course I will. You dive off it, and they go, no, you didn't do it. Do it again. You go, okay, and then you just do it again. And after it gets like twice, they ain't going to ask you to do it again.
Yeah,
no referee's
I
got.
remember because I played semi-pro, and I remember the foul throws and stuff. It was just all weird, like. Foul throw, and I'm like, what? Some players are just
that's
like,
a bugbear of mine. That's a
It's
massive
so
bugbear of
annoying.
mine because
Oh,
you see it all the time. I'm not even
in
exaggerating.
the
You see
Premier
them in
League,
the
you
Premier
see it.
League. They
Yeah,
never give them. They're
they never
never
give
giving
him
us
anymore.
foul throws.
Yeah,
If this was Sunday League, the referee would be blown up straight away. Foul throw,
straight
do it
away,
again.
straight
Foul free,
away.
do it again. You see some professional footballers, they give it like that. A
I've
throw, and you're like,
seen,
that was never a
yeah,
throw.
like like sometimes when the teams are applying pressure and the ball goes out and they want to like kind of get going quickly, they literally just go, oh, there you go, mate.
Yeah,
Literally
get it. Yeah.
just drop
That's
the
foul
ball.
throw.
Yeah, foul throws
I think it's
everywhere.
because they
Like.
can't. I think they don't want to do it to professional football. It's just embarrassing, isn't it? You
Yeah,
can't
it
throw
is.
a
It
ball.
is. Yeah,
It's like, oh man.
I've seen like a few years ago. I've seen referees pull it up like no, and if you do it, is it twice? You got to give it back to the opposition, right? If you foul throw twice, yeah, you got to
Yeah, I remember that. That's the worst, isn't it? Foul throw. And then someone who's doing it obviously doesn't know how to take a throw, and they go, right, I've got to do it the other way. And then you get the people going, oh, God, took a throw and can't even throw the ball. Mate,
Oh
tell
man,
you. That's how we've dived off already, which is about 5
yeah,
steps. Talking
yeah.
about
I
old
know.
rules. But look, guys, we're nearly up for the hour anyway. It's like, I know it's like six people watching now. Freak me out. Be sure to smash a like on the video. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. What's tomorrow? Tomorrow's Thursday. Oh, we got a match preview coming tomorrow as well. Yeah. A really good one, actually. A really good one, match preview that Flex is going to be doing for obviously the big game on Saturday evening, Man United versus Spurs. Like I said, there is a game on. Yeah, I almost forget that there is a game on. Friday, of course, we're going to have the press conference, which is going to be must-see because, I mean, who knows? Who knows what he's going to say? And I can't imagine the question's going to be particularly kind either. They shouldn't be. If they throw the softball ones again,
do you think United are going to get in there and like, right, guys, don't ask about X, Y, and Z, but you can ask about this.
No, because they wouldn't have any journalists. They wouldn't do it. Like what they'll do. You remember, like on what's the Amazon documentary called? With the football one, I can't remember what it's called now.
I forgot it, yeah.
Anyway, when they did the Spurs one, they had it with Jose before Jose had one of his press conferences. It might have been his first one. And they have like the press officer and whoever's sitting around and they go, look, you're going to probably be asked this. You're going to probably be asked this. They'll ask about this. Say this, say this, say this. So there's no doubt in my mind that Ollie will be, he'll be being told by the press officer, look, they're going to say this. They're going to say that. Answer about this. Answer about that. We know what's coming. And my only frustration would be is if you get one of those journalists, because you get him in every single one going, how important is Cristiano Ronaldo? You ask this every week. It's so frustrating.
Filler, it's like filler, isn't it? It's filler
yeah, questions. Every single time. You get some good ones. What about your tactics? What about leaking defense? And then they go, how an important influence is Cristiano Ronaldo in the dressing room? You go like, really? Your one question, that's what you had to ask.
And I think those questions, they might be plants, those questions, because it's kind of an escape for the manager. Oh, thank you. Ronaldo. And they can talk about it and kind of trail off into
all or nothing.
Else.
That's what it's called. Yes.
All or nothing, yeah.
All or nothing.
I found that quite entertaining, actually. I remember watching bits of it. It's quite entertaining. Jose's funny.
Yeah, it was City, Spurs, and they're doing an Arsenal one this year, aren't they?
Oh my God! We're not watching that. I'm not watching.
They're doing an Arsenal one, and I saw the trailer for Tiger King 2, and I reckon they're the same thing. Honestly, I reckon they're like the same thing.
Do you think they'll ever do a United one? Do you reckon? The United wouldn't allow that.
Do you know? I just know. I mean, if they
We're
did,
too shady.
Yeah. I just couldn't. Could you imagine it? It would live in infamy, wouldn't it? It would be like proper like Wizard of Oz shit. They'd see behind the curtain. They'd be like, Jesus. There's nothing here. There's nothing here. You know what I mean?
It's worse than we thought. Everyone, it's worse than we thought, literally.
Exactly. But yes, guys, there'll be the press conference Friday, and then Saturday, of course, will be the match day. So there'll be road trip, there'll be match view, there'll be match reaction with us, and there'll be fan views. And then Sunday we'll have the full view. We'll be breaking it all down. So, mate, it's a big week.
It's a big week for the channel. For the viewers,
it's a big week for the channel. Big week for Manchester United, and we'll have to wait and see what happens. But plenty of content coming soon. We'll speak to you again very, very soon.